You're listening to LOA Recon with the Good Vibe Coach Jeanette Ma, where we dissect the ins and outs and the art and science of conscious creation, all intended to amp up your manifesting game. Let's have some fun together. Welcome and thank you for tuning in for another episode. In fact, I wanted to say thanks for all the nice notes and positive reviews you leave about the podcast. I so appreciate those. They never get old. In fact, I got a lovely note on Facebook the other day that reads, "Hi, Jeanette, your podcast is my favorite out of all the ones I listen to. I love your positive energy, lessons, and stories. Your rehearsal podcast was just the reminder I needed to not worry and think of the bad things that can happen, but instead keep envisioning what I want. Woohoo for that! You inspire, help, and give hope to many of us. You make a big positive difference in this world. Thank you for what you do." Wow. Thank you for that note. It made my day. I'm smiling from ear to ear. And I just wanted to let you know how much I appreciate it to know that this work is landing as intended. Okay, so I had a story to share today that I realized when I saw a couple clients doing the same thing that I had noticed I was doing. I thought this might be worth putting on the podcast. I don't know what to call this. Maybe it's the desire behind the desire, or how to not manifest pointless details. Let me just start with the story. So, that's right. It was Saturday and taxes were due on Monday. So I was doing my taxes and it was going smoothly. Everything easy peasy. I just needed 2 more forms in order to be done. Those forms were from my bank account. So I logged on to get a 1098 and a 1099 INT form. And I found where the tax forms are. I clicked on it and it said not available right now. It said try back later or call this number. Okay, that was not my favorite answer because these are the last 2 things that I needed. So I tried logging out and back a couple times. It didn't work. So I thought I'm going to have to talk to someone apparently because I really just wanted to be done with my taxes. So I call the number. Oh my word, the automated line said my estimated wait time was between 2.5 to 3.5 hours. Hours. Come on. So I decided, look, it's not going to be that for me. I had no joy for abandoning this project right now. I really wanted to be done with them once and for all so I could enjoy the rest of my weekend. And I said, you know what, it's not going to take that long for me. Maybe the system was wrong and they meant 2.5 to 3.5 minutes. Or maybe I'll somehow jump the line. Maybe, who knows? It's not going to be that long for me. I just decided that. And I also was guessing something terrible must have happened where none of us who are doing our taxes at the last minute could access forms online. So everyone had to call and get them manually or something. I thought, this is a nightmare. But I'm on the line with the intention that someone's going to answer way faster. Well, sure enough, someone did answer way faster. It still was like a 35-minute wait. But I got a guy, and it did not take 2.5 or 3.5 hours. Told the guy what I needed, and he said, well, you need to talk to someone in the mortgage department. They're all gone for the weekend, so you'll have to call back on Monday. And I said, oh, no. I got no joy for that answer. Try again. And he said, well, I'll put you on hold and confirm. And sure enough, he put me on hold and came back and he said, yep, they're not here no one else can help. You need a mortgage person. I said, I don't need a mortgage person for my taxes, for a tax form. That's not what I need. I said, you know what? I need your supervisor. So look, I used to work phones and I used to be the person who when they asked for a supervisor, I know what it's like on the other end of the line. So I'm being as nice as I possibly can. And that was pretty nice. I was being pretty nice. So a lovely lady gets on the line and she says, she had a better answer than that guy, but still couldn't give me what I wanted because she said, right, no, you do not need a mortgage person, but our system is down. We can't access it either. No one's getting anything out of this system right now. And I realized, okay, so that's a different problem than what the guy was saying. So no one gets anything. I said, but your system isn't down for very long when that happens, right? It's happened before. It's not that long before it's come back on. I said, I could probably take the dogs for a walk. And by the time I get back, it'd probably be up, right? And she said, well, maybe, but if not today, it'd be tomorrow. I was like, okay, thanks. I hung up. I went for a walk. I came back. I didn't feel like doing taxes anymore. I was like, this is going to wait till tomorrow. But the point of my story, and I did finish it up the next day. I logged on. It was there. It was easy peasy. Everything was fine. But what I realized was that it was kind of pointless for me to be manifesting that someone answer the phone before 3.5 hours passed. That's not what I really wanted. It isn't even that I really wanted my tax forms. It isn't even that I just wanted to be done with my taxes, which is what I thought I wanted. What I really wanted was just to enjoy my day. I just wanted to enjoy my day, but there I was using my manifesting powers. Someone's going to answer faster than that. Someone's going to have a better answer than that. It was not a good use of my power. We do this sometimes. Sometimes we're manifesting pointless details. You know what other sorts of things are pointless? Like things you don't think are pointless. Things I haven't thought were pointless, but they really are. I'm talking about things like you don't just want the job offer. You don't just want the pitch to the prospect to go well. You don't just want the house to sell, or you don't just want to get pregnant or for your love interest to propose. You don't just want your candidate to win the election. You know how I know? Look, I've seen it and lived it myself. I've seen so many others do this when we have thought this thing, if only this thing would happen, then I'll be happy. And then that thing changes and guess what? There's just some new snag in whatever comes next. Like the new job has a terrible coworker, or the boss has unrealistic expectations, or the prospective client, they accept our proposal, we win the bid, and then they turn out to be terrible to work with. Or the pregnancy happens and a healthy baby's even born, but enjoying motherhood doesn't happen. Or the candidate wins and they aren't able to do anything. Or they do the things they said they wouldn't, or they don't do the things they promised they would. I'm just saying sometimes we're pointing our power on pointless details, like the bank account balance, or the number on the scale, or the romantic commitment from a lover, or the popularity of your social media posts, or your professional reputation, or winning the award, or the new car. There's so many things that we think, yeah, that. These are pointless details. I know this because I've been on the phone. Well, I mean, I've lived many of these myself, but I've been on the phone hired by clients who want me to help them manifest more money, and they've already got all the money. I'm like, you got how much money? And you think how much more is going to be what makes the difference for you? Like, if you aren't happy here, you're not going to be happy anywhere. Hey, the same thing with the number on the scale. I just read an article from an actress who was talking about how she appeared in some movie and it was work she was proud of. She thought she did a great job, and the reviews were focused on, she was heavier than she should have been. So you know what she did? She lost weight and she was in another movie, and the reviews on that were, she looks like a lollipop. She's basically stick thin. They were criticizing her for that. So she put on a little more weight, and then they're like, she let herself go. She was being criticized no matter what her weight was. That's because it wasn't the weight that we really wanted or cared about. Or the romantic commitment from a lover. Look, let's face it, anyone who thinks getting in a committed relationship is going to make them happy is in for a rude awakening. And maybe that reveals my prejudice about marriage, but I'm going to try to not laugh too hard about that. The popularity of our social media posts. I know some people, that matters to them, how many followers or how many likes. Look at what happened to Trump. He had a lot of followers. He had a lot of people who really liked him, and he lost his whole platform. He got kicked off the whole party. Oh my gosh. I was thinking of Elon Musk. I won't sidetrack into other details, but oh gosh, how about this one? When we think our professional reputation, I have also consciously used my creative efforts towards, a good reputation. And I saw an example of this the other day. I went to go see Dave Chappelle in person. He was performing in Salt Lake, and, he's known as the GOAT, the greatest of all time of, comedians, one of the best alive. And that guy, he did not seem to be having a good time to me. He did not seem to be having a good time. And, he probably had good reasons. The Salt Lake audience was they were kind of jerks. There were a couple of, I wouldn't call them hecklers. I would call them over-enthusiastic fans who were shouting things while he's trying to deliver his thing. And it was in a giant stadium. Oh my gosh, he sold so many seats. He sold out our biggest stadium. Okay, in Salt Lake, it might not be impressive to those of you in bigger states, but it was not meant for concerts. It was not meant for comedy shows. The acoustics were terrible, terrible, terrible. And it was just, you know what I heard him say? Well, he said it into the microphone. Anyone who was listening heard him say, "I'm too big to do shows like this anymore." That guy, he's got at the top. He's at the top. And he wasn't seeming to have much fun. How about when one of the things we might want to manifest is winning the award? I just got two words to say to that. Will Smith. Pointless details. I got a friend who's all about cars. He gets a lot of cars. He owns a lot of cars, and he sells a lot. He turns over a lot of cars, and it does not seem. I don't think he's getting any happier through the process. I've known him for a while, and it doesn't matter what he owns, what he sells it for, what he gets next. Doesn't seem to be moving his dial for satisfaction or happiness in life. I think some of these things that we're thinking are going to make the difference for us are kind of pointless. Because you know what? Whatever change we create, eventually it's just going to feel really similar to whatever we've been practicing, whatever we've been feeling, because that's how it works. Our dominant vibration takes hold and affects our experience of whatever life change we manage to manifest. It's going to feel however we've been feeling. It's how the system works. And I know you already know this because you've lived your own version of it, right? So if these things don't matter, if cars and awards and reputations and bank account balances, if they don't matter, what does? What does matter? Well, that's the question to ask, isn't it? What does matter? Whatever your answer to that is, that's where our conscious creation efforts are worth deploying. Because it isn't that I want the bank rep to answer the phone. It isn't that I want the tax forms. It isn't that I want to be done with taxes. It's that I just want to enjoy my day. I just want to feel good. I just want to be happy. And I can do that while sitting on hold for the bank rep. If I can't do it there, I can't do it anywhere. Yes, I know some things are easier to enjoy than others, but when my feel-good is dependent on circumstances outside of me, I'm no longer empowered. Now I'm at the mercy of whatever the world delivers. And I know it's always my choice how I feel. It is always my choice how I feel. And when I get good at choosing good feelings, when life circumstances make it easier to do that, then I get more traction with good vibrations, and that makes it easier to feel good even when life isn't going so much my way, because I'm not living so conditionally. That's what Abraham's always inviting us to do, to be unconditional lovers of life. And I know it's easier said than done, but it's worth practicing. So, you know what? I had another example of this yesterday so the night before, Harvey had been licking his rear foot. He had a little red spot. It was kind of irritated. And in the morning, he was licking it again. I was like, you know what? It's about the time of year where we're ready to get some serious hiking in. The snow's melted on most of the trails. They're dried out enough. We could start getting some walking in. And if it's not good for him to be walking, then I just wanted a professional to look at it. Hello, it's Harvey. So I had a busy day ahead, but I didn't want to make Harvey wait until, 2 days to get in. So plus, my vet, they get busy. Although I go to this vet, they're really good vets, but they get me in. When I say I got to get in, they get me in. I really like that. So anyway, I picked up the phone. I said, that's it. Harvey's getting to the vet today. And I didn't know how that was going to happen because they don't usually have same day appointments, and I did not have any room in my day for it. But I wanted Harvey to be seen by a vet. So I got on the phone and I was imagining that she was going to say, yes, we have an opening. And sure enough, the girl said, yes, we have an opening. They had one. And it was not at a time that I could do it. So I asked a friend if he would take Harvey in for me, and he did. But through this whole thing, as when he took Harvey to the vet, you know what I did? I cried. That's not my sign. I might be a little attached to my dog. Oh my gosh. He was just going to spend the day in the city because he had a vet appointment that I couldn't take him to myself. I seriously cried. I didn't cry hard or long, but I did not like Harvey being away from me. It was not my most favorite thing. Anyway, the reason I was mentioning this one is because I know that it wasn't just that I wanted a vet appointment available. That's not what I wanted. And it isn't even just that I wanted Harvey to get to the vet somehow, some way, even though I couldn't take him. That wasn't it either. And it isn't that I just wanted the vet to say that Harvey was fine. This was an easy fix. Although that's exactly what he said. That's not what I want either. You know, when I think about what's the desire behind the desire, it isn't even that I want Harvey to live forever. Although, you know, maybe. Okay, that one. It isn't that I want that, because he could live forever and not be happy, and that would not be what I wanted. That would not be what I wanted. And even if Harvey lived forever and he was happy, if I wasn't happy, I wouldn't want that either. So what do I want? I know I want Harvey to be happy, and I know I want to be happy. I just want both of us to enjoy life. That's probably the desire behind the desire, right? That's worth focusing on, because it may not require a vet visit. It may not. It's just so much better to use our powers on what really matters. When I think about this, I'm like, okay, so if it doesn't matter, professional accolades, bank account balances, healthy bodies, romantic success, if none of that matters, what am I supposed to be using my powers on? What am I supposed to be manifesting? It kind of feels like it's taking the fun out of it when I say, that's not really what you want. I feel kind of like a killjoy to my clients. So, I'm not saying let's not focus on the details of the things that seem to matter, but let's be clear about what does matter. Let's get good at giving ourselves what we really want. Whatever the desire behind the desire is, let's focus on that. I think pretty much. I believe Abraham when they say the only reason you want anything is because you think you'll feel better when you have it. So feeling better is the point. We could do that right now. All the other stuff is pointless. How we feel, that's what we really care about. And we can feel better right now. Just by deciding to. Just because you know how to find a thought that feels better. Because you know how to take a deep breath and let go of tension you didn't even realize you were holding, right? We're so good at this. And when we get good at feeling how we want to feel right now before anything else changes, the changes that come next are going to be fabulous. All right, I hope something here was helpful for you. Thanks for listening, and happy manifesting, everyone.